Hey guys, it's Rao, and welcome back to another episode of Reasoning with Rao. I guess some of you will be able to tell that the setup is different. What? Oh shit. The setup is different, and we're no longer in Nottingham. We moved out. Obviously, like I said ages ago, uni's done. I was just hanging around in Nottingham for a bit, but yeah, now back in Norwich. Actually, the last video you saw, I recorded that while I was still in Nottingham, but I released it while I was here, just as something to put out for you guys. Because one thing about being here is that the setup is just not as good. Like my desk, I might make a little video or whatever and just like put it in now. Maybe I did that. But yeah, my desk is just not. It's not compatible with what I need it to be compatible with. So that kind of sucks. But it's whatever. I've figured out like a makeshift kind of way to be able to make this video and anything else I decide to make while I'm here. And if it's like bad or anything, then just let me know. But yeah, no, moving away from nuts, it's kind of weird because obviously that's where Reasoning with Rouse started. That's where it's always been. But I guess it's kind of a signal that it's like a serious thing that I'm actually going to keep doing if I'm like making makeshift ways to be able to make videos. But yeah, no, so I've been back for like a couple weeks and I don't even, what's really been going on? Oh, England are playing. The Euros are on. The Euros in general have been it's been weird because like the last Euros was nuts. Like everybody was always outside, like for all of the games, even like everybody was excited. And it kind of felt like this one, no one really cared. I guess now everybody kind of cares because England are doing pretty well. Like we just won the semi final. That was, for me recording this now, that was yesterday. For you guys seeing it, might be the day after today. Maybe I'll get it out today, I don't know. But yeah, we just won the semi final, obviously the quarter final before that as well. So like it's kind of getting, it's ramping up, like people are getting a bit more excited. So yeah, I've been doing that, like going to the games and stuff. And the finals on Sunday. And I have this weird thing with watching the games at the pub, right? Because I don't actually really like watching the games at the pub because I like to watch the game. And when people are just throwing beers and blah, 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 like, there's just that's English stuff, right? I don't really enjoy it, but I do enjoy like being around like all the guys and like all my friends and everybody else having a good time. So it's kind of like a seesaw. Like one day it'll be really good because all of that stuff I said is really good, and then some days just bad 'cause I'm like, bro, why am I here? Like I could literally just be watching this in my room and it would be 10 times better. But the final will make an exception because you have to go and see the final with the guys. Because if we somehow win, then that has the potential to be one of the nights of all time. So there is that, something to look forward to. I've also started training for the half marathon. I don't know if I mentioned that in any of the other videos, but I'm doing a half marathon end of September. A few of my friends that play basketball doing it with me as well. So I started training for that, and I started using Nike Run Club because like on my watch, like it just has it on one of the home screens. So I just was like, oh, it's just the easiest one to use. And that plan was like, it was beautiful. It was just beautiful, right? It was like 4 runs a week or 5 runs a week, but like the runs weren't that hard. You'd have like a slow run, a couple quick runs, but there'd be like intervals and stuff, and it was fine. And then one long run. Then I moved to this app called Runner, because like my friend was like, oh, just try it, use a free trial, try it, right? And I was like, all right, cool. I've done 2 days of that. I don't think I can continue, bro. I don't think I'm ready for that. The first run was fine, right? It was like an easy run. It's like 8K or something like that, and it was like an easy run. Then they had me doing this thing called tempo running, and that was some BS. Like the first tempo, which is like the slowest one, was the speed they want me to do my target time for the half marathon, which was 4 minutes 20 per kilometer, and I felt like I was sprinting. Like I felt like I gave them everything I possibly could have, and I was at like 4:25, so I was still slower than they wanted me to be. So, bro, I might just switch back. But yeah, that's what I've been doing since I've been back. But now that I've fixed up this, whatever we can call this setup, the video should come thick and fast. Right, enough with the waffling. I probably even just cut it short because like I was just going here, there, and everywhere. But topic of today is pretty cool because it was, the other day, like one of my friends was like, oh, like, you got any ideas for any YouTube videos coming up? And I was like, yeah, bro, I'm going to talk about like reinventing yourself because that's the topic of today, like reinventing yourself. It was like, we just finished watching, I think it was the other semi-final, the football, and just got chatting about it. And obviously I had a plan for what I was going to kind of, not a plan, but like I was like, this is kind of where I want to go with it. But it's kind of changed because of that conversation. And that's what I really like about the comments on these videos is that everything that I thought I wanted to say or everything I thought I knew about something can change, and I'm open to it changing. And I really like it when it does change because I feel like I've got a more clear understanding of the topic. But yeah, talking about reinventing yourself today, and yeah, let's get into it. So what do I even mean by reinventing yourself? I guess like if you went on the internet, you could find like 10,000 different definitions of it. But here in this video, it's essentially just gonna talk about or encapsulate the set of traits or hobbies or things that make up your identity, and that's your invention of yourself. So if you were to reinvent yourself, you'd essentially just be changing those things. So change your hobbies or change the traits that you know you put forward. So you I guess you could be a horrible person, you could reinvent yourself by becoming a kind person, or you could change your list of hobbies from being a football player to being a tennis player. So in that sense, reinventing yourself is kind of just changing who you are, but it has to be more of a conscious decision. So it would be different, I guess, to just growing up, because growing up, like, you are going to change your traits, your hobbies and whatnot. But reinventing yourself, like, you have to go out of your way to invent a new identity, or to actively change or purposely change parts of your identity. And yeah, that's essentially what I want to talk about. But the things that I want to focus on in this video are the troubles or the struggles that can come with doing that, because it's often a goal of some people to reinvent themselves. Maybe there's something they don't like about themselves, or maybe there's something that they feel like would be more desirable to identify with. Maybe a hobby that's in fashion, or a trait that would be more beneficial in a relationship or a friendship, right? But it's what I believe, it's quite difficult sometimes to reinvent yourself because there are both internal and social barriers, or I don't know how else to put it. I guess barriers is probably the best way that I can put it when it comes to actually reinventing yourself. And first of all, I'll talk about those internal struggles, because one of my friends, Seth, shout out to Seth, he actually made a really cool link when we were talking about it to the dilemma of authenticity. So let's get into that. Right, so imagine like my whole life, not me, but someone, their whole life was very extroverted, went out a lot, was very easy to talk to, and loved to speak to other people. And as they've grown up and experienced things and seen things and just seen life, right, they've developed an affinity to just be more introverted. They don't enjoy talking as much. They don't enjoy public speaking. They don't like going out a lot. They really just enjoy staying in, watching movies, playing games. If they make a conscious effort, and they want to make a conscious effort to reinvent themselves as a more introverted person, as Seth expertly pointed out, there's a link there to the dilemma of authenticity that I spoke about, I think, not last video, but the one before, in which in your heart of hearts, you've always been extroverted. So this desire to be introverted, there's a dilemma there where this is really what you want to do, and this is really who you think you are or think you are becoming, but is it really you? Because your whole life you've been extroverted. And in that video I spoke a little bit about there being maybe like an arbitrary set number of years or number of actions at which, like, after that point you can then say, yes, I am actually introverted now, or yes, I am extroverted, so these introverted desires, I need to leave them over there, like I can't act on them. And before speaking to my friends about that, I hadn't even thought about it in that way. So I hadn't even thought about this internal struggle when it comes to reinventing yourself, because that is a real problem. Like, you've been one way your whole life. Like me, for example, like I said, training for a half marathon. I hadn't gone on an actual run or enjoyed a run ever before 4 months ago. Where are we now? July? Maybe like 7 months ago. I like Christmas, right? I went on a run. I was like to my basketball team, I was like, guys, let's do one run per week. But before that, I had never been a runner. Like I hated running. In PE, when we did long distance events, I was the guy that was like, bro, my knee, my ankle, my hamstring, everything was broken, right? But I guess I've reinvented myself now as a runner because I run so much and it's part of, I guess, who I am now. Like even yesterday at the pub when we were watching football, I was like, I might not drink because when I did that run that I was talking about earlier, that was really bad. I drank the day before and I was like, bro, I can't do this. Like the running side of me actually like took over my decision. I drank in the end, doesn't matter, but like it kind of took over my decision making a little bit. So am I being fake by doing all this running when my whole life, like for 21 years, I had never enjoyed running. I didn't like it at all. So do I have that dilemma of authenticity where I'm not being authentic by doing all this running? Or have I crossed that threshold? Like, have I reached that arbitrary number of runs where, because I've done now, like, I don't know, 40, 50 runs or whatever, now I'm a runner, you know? And I hadn't even thought about it like that. So, shout out to Seth. And if this, like, section of the video helped any of you at all, say thank you to him because I hadn't even thought about it. So, that was more so the internal struggles that you could probably face or you possibly can face when trying to reinvent yourself or when thinking of how to put your new desires, your new affinities for certain things into your identity. I hope for a lot of you, it's less tedious, it's less disruptive for you. You don't feel like you're being fake and you can just come to a concrete conclusion and just be decisive and this is who you are. But obviously, if that dilemma does come up for you, then I hope that discussion did help a little bit. But now I want to get onto the more social troubles or the more social barriers to reinventing yourself, which I think are really interesting and I would like to know what you will think because I, for one, have gone through certain phases in my life where I feel like I've been this person, I've been that person, I've been that person. And I guess I've had it a bit easier than most because I've moved around a decent enough amount of times where when I've gone somewhere new, I've been able to essentially reset and kind of have a fresh start. So I'm not really reinventing myself for all of the new people. So like when I moved to Norwich, right? I moved when I was like 14 or 15. And for a few years, maybe before I left, I was a lot less outgoing. Like I was a lot less bubbly and like I just that was who I was in primary school and I was very loud and I got in trouble a lot, and as I got a bit older I just kind of like fizzled out a little bit, and it was really really difficult to get that across to all of my friends who had seen me as that really outgoing, loud, like let's get in trouble, let's have a bit of fun kind of guy, and then for them to see me as just not wanting to get involved in that stuff anymore, it was really difficult for me because it didn't really make sense to them. So it was really difficult for me to put those new affinities and desires into my personality. It was kind of just a thing I left to the side. Like, yeah, I don't really want to get involved in all of this rubbish, but I kind of have to because otherwise it's going to be really, really weird for all my friends when that's who they know me as. So when I moved to Norwich, I was able to kind of tap into all of those things that I wasn't able to tap into while I was still in London. And I essentially got to reinvent myself without anyone in Norwich knowing that it was a reinvention. But here's the bit where that made me even want to make this video in the first place. When I would then see my friends from London again, it would be like, oh shit, hold up. Who am I? Like, am I the reinvention? Am I the original? Like, what's going on here? And I found many times where I'd gotten so used to being able to just be myself that they were just so confused. It was almost like the person, I guess they probably put it down to the fact that I'd been away for so long and they just assumed I'd changed, and it not being who I was actually before but it was very difficult to, go back to London and see all my friends and still be myself, because they'd known me for so long as somebody else. Not somebody else, but like somebody who enjoys different things, or, is more outgoing, more loud, more, in your face. And it prompted me to think, like, do a lot of other people have this kind of issue, or is this why a lot of people like to go really far away from home when they decide to go to uni, or why they want to move abroad after they finish education, or they've had a job. Maybe they're trying to escape the identity that's essentially being given to them. It's kind of fixed. You are a certain person to the people in your your social circle, and if you kind of try and bring something else into your personality, it's like, why the hell are you doing that? And I've had many times where, like, I've been myself in a group, or I've been myself in a situation, and it's not been met with, because I don't have horrible friends, but it's not been met with hostility, or like, why the hell are you doing that? But it just was uncomfortable because they obviously didn't expect that from me. So it made me think, oh, maybe this is part of why so many people want to move abroad, why people just want to get away from home. Because I guess you find a lot of the time that people, when they come back from uni, or they come back from being somewhere far away, are totally different, or they were totally or people that they know at uni have such a different depiction of them than you did. And yeah, like, we have a friend here in Norwich who's gone out to Australia, and we're talking about it the other day. Like, what is he like out there? Because he's been off like a year. Like, what is he like out there? Like, is he going to be the exact same when he comes back? And I was like, it might actually be really difficult for him when he gets back to be who he was over there. Because we all have such like an opinion of him. He is this kind of person, he's that kind of person. And I bet if we ask the people that he's out in Australia with, what is he like? It's very possible that they have a vastly, vastly different depiction of him. And that's what I see as like the social barrier to reinventing yourself, is like, you don't ever really feel comfortable adding certain things to your personality, taking certain things out of your personality, just through fear of what other people are going to think. And obviously some people be much better at dealing with that than others. Some people be like, this is who I am, I don't really care what anyone thinks. If you think I'm weird, then good for you, I don't really care. But then there'll be some people where it's actually quite crippling, and like, they just feel like they're stuck in this personality, and the only way out is to just move far, far away, or, stop being friends with people, delete social media, all of these kinds of solutions. So I kind of wonder what you guys think, if that affects you, if it has affected you and you've had a way to get over it. I don't really even know where I stand on it, to be honest. I think I've definitely gotten better over time, because yeah, like I said, when I was still in London, like towards the end of my time there before I moved to Norwich, it was kind of difficult. I was like, bro, this is like who I am. Like, you're not allowed to change. No one's gonna let you change, bro. This is who you are. This is who you always be. But as I've been able to change, going to uni, and when you mix friends and stuff, and it's like, they know you as this, they know you as that, you kind of just learn to just be yourself, and then they'll just fill in the gaps here, there. If they don't like it, then you kind of even forget that you're being judged, especially when you merge friends. So for me, it's not the biggest issue, but I can see how it can be an issue, and it has been an issue for me in the past. So I wonder what you guys think, and whether you got anything out of this video. It was just kind of, thing that my friends and I were talking about. It's another one of those things on the list of reasoning with, oh shit, sorry, on the list in my notes. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and peace out. Oh, wait. Let me take that kiss back. There's one more thing. I was thinking of having like a supplementary podcast to this channel. I haven't really thought of a name. I'd kind of settled on Reasons, just because it affiliates with the channel, and I just couldn't really think of anything else. But I was thinking of having like a supplementary podcast where I can have certain people on, like some of my friends, or so, like, yeah, essentially just some of my friends, or some people, maybe sports people at uni, or just stuff like that, for specific topics that maybe you guys put in the comments. Like, I'd like to hear a podcast episode on that, for like longer maybe like an hour, 45 minutes with people that actually have more experience in other fields, because obviously I've only had so many experiences in my life. And yeah, I just thought, let me just drop it in here because I think I'm gonna do it, but I wanted to know if you guys would be interested in it, or if you have any like topics that you definitely want to be spoken about in a podcast episode. Just drop them in the comments, or I might like make a community tab or something like that, so you can like just put it in there. But yeah, I thought I'd let you guys know that that might be coming sometime soon alongside the Reasoning with Right episodes. But yeah, now you can have your kiss. Peace.